Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. We're still here with another day and another Cabinet of Curiosiprompts. This is an art challenge hosted by myself and my best friend, Tiff, over at AmethystRaven342. So check her out over there. See what she's making for today's prompt. And then don't forget to check the description box so you can see the playlist where I've gathered all of the videos that people have been posting of their prompts and their makes and stuff. So you can see what everybody else is making as well. And if you are just now joining us, it's nearly the end of the month. We're actually on day 29. So you might be like, oh no, it's too late for me to join. It's actually never too late. So feel free to join anytime. The prompt will still always be available. And, you know, even if you just make one thing to say that you did it, and hooray, just, you know, give it a shot. Even if you combine every single prompt onto one, I would love to see that. Actually, that would be so crazy. I would love to see it. But, you know, there's a way. It's possible. You could combine a couple prompts. You could knock them out real quick. Or you could just do like one or two and just, you know, dip your toes in the little Curiosiprompts pond and see what happens. But at any rate, let's jump into it. So, like I said, today is day 29. The prompt is epistolary, which is an adjective meaning relating to letters or letter writing. And I decided to utilize a resource that I have in abundance in my craft space because it is the thing that I see the most often when I am like thrifting or I'm going to like the art reuse and I'm like, you should get this. And it's envelopes. Envelopes. In fact, I have banned myself from buying envelopes because I have so many and I don't know why. I don't know what it is in my little like magpie brain, but I swear I see like a pack of like old envelopes and I'm like, you need those. And I don't. Like I could literally do like a month challenge of using up envelopes and don't tell me I should because I don't have time. I don't have time right now. Maybe remind me in the summer when I'm like, oh, I'm so bored and I don't have anything to do. Remind me then. But for right now, envelopes. Envelopes are related to writing, so I think that they qualify. And you can see this one's already like a little stuck, and that's fine. I don't want it actually to be open. I'm not going to make this a usable envelope thing. We're just gonna turn this into something that's like an homage to letter writing and envelopetry envelopes. But like this has a nice age on it. It's a nice like cream color with a bit of like, I don't know, a bit of age around the edges because it is an old envelope, but I want it to look older. So I'm going to start out with some coffee. I'm going to shake up my little coffee spray here. And then we're going to see if we can make it look older. And I'm only going to worry about the one side because I'm not doing the back. The back is going to go onto the tag. And get nice and saturated. And well, yeah, that's basically it, right? I'm gonna let this soak in for a second, dry it off a little bit, and then I'm gonna dry it. And then I'm gonna towel it off a little bit, and then I'm gonna dry it. Okay, so I'm gonna dry this, and then I'll come back and we'll see how we've aged it. Okay, so here's what we got. I also went through with my heat tool and did a little like singeing a little bit here and there just to brown it up a little more. And then it occurred to me that I was like paying so much attention to that, but it's a little bit taller by a lot of bit. So I'm gonna cut it down before I get too far carried away into this. Let me see. It's like 7/8. I was hoping it'd be like a nice easily divisible number so that we could get a nice even sort of action here. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the back of my choppa for spiders because despite many spider checks, they still manage to find their way into places. Okay, so let's see. That's a shame. Those were good crunchy bits too. So I guess we'll just do it again. and see if I can't get crunchety bits on these edges. I'm pretty sure I can. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. So I'm gonna dry and I'll come back. Okay, so now that my house smells like burning paper, we've got this, which is delightful and still hot, but which is great. The second time we got much better textures. This is how I coffee dye paper too. If you guys are wondering, when you see my coffee dye paper, is I dip it in the coffee like mix, right? It's like water, and I add a little bit of glycerin and then a little bit of vanilla so it smells good, and then I put it on the pan and I stick it in my oven to dry, and then when it's dry I pull it out and then I spray it and then put it back in there. Also try to flip it over onto like the hot pan, because you get like all this like cool crazing from the pan being hot and then it's sizzling in there. So that's just how, that's a little aside on how I coffee dye things for you to try. The hot pan trick is great. It works on the first layer too. So like if you dip it in and you already have like your pan scorching hot from the oven, and then you drop it in there, you'll get like cool textures on there too. So like that's how you do it. So now we have this. So we're gonna make it an envelope again by securing edges and locking everything down. And I think I'll go ahead and put it onto my tag, because it doesn't actually need to be separate anymore. It didn't really need to be separate in the first place. And we'll get these edges closed. Oop. I was a little overzealous. I don't know why I'm making a big deal right now. There we go. And then I'm going to get it all stuck down. And of course I want it to stick to the edges, so I'm going to get up to the edge with this glue. Am I in frame? I'm always slightly to the bottom. Sorry, one day I'll figure it out. Or, you know, make myself like a marker or something so I remember. Oop, too far. What's going on here? No, it's a quiet day. It's a Sunday. Usually like a restful recovery type of day, you know, but I'm in my final stretch here. I'm on a roll. I'm feeling creative and inspired. I already put glue on there. I just need to let it dry. Yeah, so I don't really have that much like exciting news to talk about. Although I could talk about work drama. I don't know how much you guys are into that. I know some of you are invested in my work drama, but the rest of you might not be. But we had this whole thing. We had to have a meeting because people were leaving early on Fridays, and it was getting to the point where like nobody was there in the afternoons. So it happened ages ago where whatchamacallit, like you could stack your time, or I mean you could, should you have is a different question. But I figured out that, you know, I could take a shorter lunch and work, you know, like an extra like 15-30 minutes a day, and then on Friday I could leave early, which was great because at the time when I discovered this, it was like over the summer of last year and I was so sickly. So it's kind of nice to just like have like a half day that I could go in and then go home and go back to rest and get some sleep, because that was basically how I was like keeping my Patreon and stuff going, was by taking that opportunity to get some rest because I was so fatigued, so that by the time I got to Saturday, I had like spoons in order to get back up again. So like I was like, okay, great, this is working out fine. Nobody complained, nobody said nothing. I just, was like, here, I'm here, and then it's 12 and I'm leaving, I'm going home, goodbye everybody. And like nobody said shit. Everything was fine. And then it started to spiral because everybody was like, how do you have all this PTO? And I was like, oh, I'm not using my PTO because I'm a big dum-dum who opens their mouth. And so once they figured out that I wasn't doing that, the other girls started doing it too. And most of them would leave at like lunchtime, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But again, the problem was that by like 3, there was nobody in the office in our department. And like, I'm not going to take the blame for that because I am not a manager. And like, this is like the biggest complaint I've had in this entire like affair is that we have managers and they aren't watching like they're supposed to, and they don't respond or react when people do things until one of them is mildly inconvenienced, and then it becomes like a big thing that we're all upset and complaining about. So like in my brain, that's not on me, that's on them. It is a them problem. Like their lack of response does not make it my issue. But like one of the days our boss was there, everybody was gone, she realized that everybody had left, and then she got really mad because she had to be there late, so she was mad that everybody else was gone. And like, here's the thing, like on Fridays, we don't get a lot of people calling, or like, there's not like a need for everybody to be there Friday, because it's basically Ghost Town City on Fridays. And so, but because, my boss had to be there, she was very upset. She had to take one phone call, which is what we all verified. It was one phone call she had to take. And she came down with like a hammer, told everybody they couldn't do that anymore. They could only do it if they left, after 3. Nobody could leave before 3. Like, here was the rule, whatever. But the problem in my office is that only a couple people follow the rules. So like when she said that, I was like, okay, 3 o'clock, it's fine. I mean, it's inconvenient because I'm so sleepy, but it's fine, I'm not gonna make a big stink out of it. It is what it is, like I work here. So I have no problem following the rules as described and laid out to me. But the problem is that only a couple of us follow the rules. So it was just like me and 2 other people who were stuck there until 3 o'clock on Friday. Well, everybody else was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing the same shit. And so we had the same problem, because by 3 o'clock, the people who are following the rule are like, okay, I did my thing. I didn't stack up a bunch of time. I just, maybe saved a lunch or 2 here, and now I'm gonna go home early on Friday, because I have earned it. It's the end of the week, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, that didn't fly either, because everybody was gone. And so, our boss got angry about that as well. And I was like, because the other people who were not following the rules were gone before us anyway, so they were taking off at noon still and being gone. So I was like, okay. So it got to the point where she was like calling people to be like, did you even do all your hours? Like, what's going on? How come you left early? And like, just chasing people down to holler at them. Sorry, my reach is crazy here, but they're all the way over here. And, so she was getting mad because people were, basically ignoring her again. Let me see. Yeah, it's gonna have to be the espresso. So, because, she's mad, we have another meeting, but this time she decides to do it one-on-one instead of as a group, which was really interesting. And then she tells everybody, like, nobody can leave early, everybody has to stay their full shift, like, blah, 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 here's how it goes. And then she said, like, the earliest we can leave early if we have extra time is 4, which is the end of my shift, because I work 7 to 4. So I was like, oh, okay, so Priscilla can't leave early. Okay, I get it. Cool. But again, like, I work there, so it's fine. You know, this is the rule as you were telling me, even though I was following the rule last time, and then you got mad at me because people weren't following the rule, and you took that personally, and decided to punish the people who were following the rules instead of the people who weren't, which is sort of the bigger beef that, like, everybody else is having, is that, like, there were people who were doing as she said, and we still got in trouble for it. And I was like, why don't you just punish the people who weren't doing the things you said? And she was like, no, it has to be fair. Because my boss has a weird thing about fairness where she thinks, like, that is the be-all, end-all thing for, I don't know, like, being a good manager. Like, that's her scale, is by being fair beyond all reason and rationality, then determines that she's, like, doing a good job as a manager. And it's fair, it's not, like, equitable. It's like equality over equity, which I'm like, that's unreasonable. You should be an equitable manager. And then just punish the people who are not listening. You know, if you could just do that, like, that would solve so many problems. But yeah, she won't. So we have this whole thing again, and she's all mad and angry about everything in the world, and we're like, okay, like, here we go again. I was going to put a stamp on it, but I realized that this is the back of the envelope, so changing my mind there. I just want the text stamp. This, and I want this. So we have this whole thing, and then immediately she undercuts it with her own, like, stuff, because we are short field staff. And so to fix the issue of being short field staff, they have been sending out the people in my department to go do these visits in said field. But you see, the problem with doing this is that after 3 o'clock on Fridays, it's just me. It's me and one other person who were the people who were following the rules in the first place, and not, like, abusing her kindness in the system and all that. It's just us who are sitting there being like, wow, okay. So this week, a bunch of people took PTO. So, like, the previous week, there was whatchamacallit, everybody was out in the field. And then, there we go. This week, whatchamadoodle, everybody took PTO. So, like, there was only 2 of us again for the entire day. So it wasn't even like everybody was gone afternoon. It was 2 people for the entire day. And then I leave at 4 and the other person was going to leave at 5. But it would have just been 1 person for the afternoon. And she was like, and technically I could leave, like, earlier if I wanted to, but I want to get, like, this little hour of overtime. So she could have also left. So, you know, it's my boss, and she's complaining because she doesn't understand how, you know, the entirety of our department is off at the same time, and nobody informed her, even though she had to approve the PTO request herself. I didn't question that. I just let her have it. What else do I want to add? I'm trying to, like, build layers of, like, memory and history into my epistolary envelope piece here. You know, like, the words are traveling through time kind of thing. That's the idea I have with this. What else do I want to put on here? Well, I thought about a plant. Oh, I could emboss a big leaf. Do I have a big leaf stamp? Of course I do. That's not even a question. Hold on. Okay, I got halfway to my wood stamp block place where I have big leaf stamps when I remembered that I literally have a bag of die cuts here of leaves. Just a big old bag that need a home that could get embossed. So at any rate, you guys have probably gathered, am a bit of a troll. So the last week when this happened, and there was barely anybody there except for me and the other person who was also following the rules. I was like, well, did you solve the problem of everybody being gone after 3? And then she was like, no, well, that's important because we needed people to go do visits and do stuff in the field. Like, that was essential. That's different, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's, like, stacking their time. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. That's different. Sure. You know, and then, I should also do this while I'm here. And then this week, when everybody had PTO, I was like, well, did you solve the problem of everybody taking off before 3? And she was like, shut up. Because by then she's sick of me. But then she was like extra mad. So then she starts like hollering about it. Now she wants to change how we do our PTO processes and make sure that she sees it so she can even check to see if these people have PTO, because I guess some of the people who took PTO today don't actually have PTO. They were just saying I'm taking PTO. And they had already kind of stacked some of their time to begin with to cover the loss of hours. So like she was already like on a rant and a tirade. And I was just like, you know, because of a big fucking troll. And, you know, also as the person who has been following the rules consistently and was the person who was like, okay, well, this is the reason I took this time. And like, we had a whole meeting, you know, about it the first time. And I talked to her about it and she was like, yeah, I understand, you know, like, I think that you should have that time too so that you can rest. And I was like, okay, so we agree. And she was like, yeah, but I have to be equal. And I was like, no, you don't have to be equal. So I even like tried to like pitch it as like a rotational thing, like, because, you know, there's nothing in the handbook, the policies that say that we can't do this, which is the thing that I pointed out, was that nobody was actually breaking the rules. They were just all leaving together as a unit, you know, and abandoning the department. So I was like, so why don't we just put it on a rotational thing? So like half the girls can go this Friday, the other half can go this Friday, and then we can just, you know, swap if we need to, you know, if like somebody has like something coming up. But then this way you always have coverage on Fridays. And she was like, well, no, because they don't do their job. And if I don't like monitor them, blah, 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 they're going to do blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you always have some sort of reason to micromanage, but you have this really hands-off management style that makes micromanaging like impossible. So good luck, you know, because this is just such a straightforward solution to your problem and you don't want it because you want to be in control while letting everything be out of control. Yeah, so then this time when it came up again, everybody was like, why don't we just put it on a rotation so that this way it's fair and then people can still take time off, because, you know, you're talking like, for me, leaving at 3 was an hour off. For the other girls, it was like 2 hours off, and we were having this big crash out over an hour to 2 hours when there's literally people who don't work their schedules, don't show up on time, come in whenever, leave whenever, and somehow still always have 40 hours. So like, this is the hill that we're dying on, is a weird place to sort of stake your claim. But the thing that it had it like in common this time and the last time was that she was inconvenienced in particular because she had to be there, because our boss isn't always there till 5. So it's the days that she has to be there till 5 that she has very strong feelings about nobody being there till 5. But if she doesn't have to be there till 5, then she doesn't really care. Come on. Key. So like, you know, that was like another thing that I also pointed out, because I was like, oh, is it only on the days that you're here? And then again, she was like, shut up, Priscilla. Because, yeah, that is the kind of relationship we have. I have to sit with her when we have meetings, because I'm not allowed to ask questions without going through her first, because I tend to be that kind of person who's like, well, earlier you stated this, and I just want to point out that this doesn't, you know, fall in alignment with whatever you just fucking said. So, you know, I have to go through her and ask my questions through her now, because I'm not allowed to do it on the meetings anymore. But yeah, now I guess when the girls come back on Monday, they're all gonna find out that she got all mad about everything, and our policies have changed, and that she knows that they didn't have PTO and they took the time off anyways, and all sorts of stuff. It's a big mess. Okay. Because I got, I don't know, in a space where I felt like I didn't need to hold these down. The key touched it and took the edges off. So I gotta redo those. But all of this to say that, like, with all of these things that have happened and all of these changes to the time off on Friday's thing, the only people who have been really inconvenienced by it are the people who have been following, like, the rules and company policy and her rules the entire time. The people who have not and have been, like, flouncing her rules and taking advantage of stuff are still getting off and they're still having a good old time, despite her restrictions and things like that. And I don't see it changing any point in time, but I do intend to be very loud and vocal about it because I do think it's really unfair. So I do intend to keep pointing out to her every Friday that I have to be there until the end of my shift when nobody else is, because that's, you know, like a thing. And I brought it up when we had the meeting, because a lot of these girls just, you know, like, they're cool people. I love them as people. Their work ethic is horrible, but they show up 2 hours late, hour and a half, 2 hours late, and then they take a bunch of breaks, and then they're gone half the day. They're not even at their desk, and if they are, the computer's not even on. And then, you know, they're taking extra long lunches and then extra breaks and all sorts of stuff. And then, you know, they still get to take advantage and have early outs on the Fridays and things like that. And I'm just sitting here going, I work my entire shift. I am always sat here. I'm not going anywhere. And then I have to stay extra because you got mad one time. Like, that's basically how it is. Why is this end, like, blue? Oh, I just stuck my finger on it, but it's okay. It didn't go nowhere. Do you see it? I don't know. Like, let me see if it's even focusing. Oh, shit. Did you see how it's, like, blue like my nail? Right here on these little 2 prongs, but everything else is green. I don't know if that's in focus, because I can't see the camera. Yes. And then I want this to be here, like so. I kind of wanted to, like, emboss this with print in the, like, with the, you know, with a little script writing in the vintage photo embalming glaze, but that might be a lot. It might be too much. Not that I think it would be, but it might be too much. It might be too busy. I don't know if too much is the right, well, that would still be too much. I don't know what I'm trying to, like, play with the semantics on this. It's not exactly too much, it's just too busy, which is the same as too much. I love this glue so much. Just look at how nice. Look at how nice that is. Just stuck right down. No problems. No questions asked. I missed you so much. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna go kind of cattywampus with my key. Maybe less cattywampus. Or cattywampus would be a good one. I don't even know if that's really a word or if that's just like one of those things that sort of floats around in the cultural lexicon. I have a candle here. It's a votive candle in a reused candle tin because I can't find my wax melt furnace. Which, like, I found everything else that comes with it, but my bag of waxes was like way at the back of my shelf, so I have a feeling the furnace is behind the shelf, which means that's where it will live for quite a while. Get out of there. I gotta decide what I'm gonna put on here. I have been debating what it's gonna be. Because I have this pretty moon and flowers. I was gonna, if I went gothic, I hadn't decided what vibe I was gonna go for, so if I went gothic, I was gonna use this one. But I guess we're gonna do the bee. Now I have this bee, but I also have a simpler bee, and I kind of feel like the simple bee would actually look better. So let me see. Can we find the bee? This is like searching for a bee in a haystack. Oh, no it wasn't. Have a simple bee. Yeah, I think the simple bee will work better. This one is cool, this bee. Like, that one's cool. This one is also cool, but it is very intricate. I think it'll, like with the background being busy, I think it'll be a detractor and not a supporter. So, yeah, in my quest to recreate my candle furnace, I was like, okay, get a candle, and then I couldn't find a single tea light candle, which is crazy. This is so hard to do one-handed. I couldn't find a single tea light candle, so I was like, okay, grab a votive candle. I have a bajillion votive candles. You know what I don't have? A bajillion votive candle holders. This is a later time project. There's nothing interesting to see here, because I have to hold it by hand. But whatchamacallit, I should be smarter and hold it with the hand that isn't all jankety. Yeah, I don't understand how, as a person of a witchy persuasion who has a bajillion votive candles, I don't have a votive candle holder. But I do have a bunch of these tins from other candles that I just am repurposing as a votive candle holder. And I am aware that I am creating kettle black on the bottom of my, or carbon black on the bottom of my spoon, because I am holding it very close, so that's where you're getting all the smoke from. Don't worry, it's fine. There's probably old wax on the bottom of this too, to be fair. But I want this to go fast, so it's sitting in the flame. So yeah, I guess that's the entirety of that work drama saga. Well, I'll keep you guys posted if I ever finally get to leave early on a Friday again. Because yeah, I think it's silly, and I just think it should be rotational, and it's honestly not that big of a deal. But like, I guess I kind of understand where my boss is coming from, because those girls are fairly hard to micromanage. Because they're all just like kind of doing shit constantly. You know, like, and with the way that this week worked out, it was just like everybody was taken off for some kind of vacation or another. Because, you know, it's the end of spring break here in Texas, and then somebody's birthday was happening, so they were like, yeah, I'm off for my birthday. Like, what are you talking about? And I know the whole, like, on Thursday it started to happen, because my boss was like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, everybody was like, yeah, no, we're off. We're all off. And I was like, shit, I didn't get the memo. Like, had I known, I would have been like, yeah, I'm also taking off this day as well, as a matter of fact. But I have to save my PTO and be responsible, because I have a thing in May where my best friend is coming, and we're gonna go see Florence and the Machine, so I have to have that time off, so I can't squander it. But like, honestly, I would if I could. I guess it's also important to state that I'm sitting in a well-ventilated space. I'm literally right next to my open door and window. So if you're worried about all this smoke and like the impact of that, I'm not breathing it. It's getting sucked right outside. So if you're going to do it like this, where you're holding your spoon directly into the fire and boiling your wax, yeah, just make sure that you can breathe and that it's going somewhere other than your face. Safety. Almost just spilled that right into the candle. That would make me so mad. Come on. Yeah, see, on my furnace is a little spoon, too, like that I would use to, like, stir this up a bit. And I don't think I put it into this bag of wax. Which, can I tell you guys, I took this bag out. So this is the bag. Do you see how it's covered in cat hair? Because I took it out, I put it on the floor next to my desk so I could be like, use this for Epistolary. And then Nico literally sat on it and then started kicking it like it was a kicky toy. And I was like, what is wrong with you? This has been here for 5 seconds. You've already decided it's yours. I'm gonna wait for it to stop boiling. Otherwise I'm gonna have bubbly wax. It just now occurred to me that that was gonna be a problem. Oh, I dropped it. Picking it up. I was just gonna see if I could maybe help some of these bubbles along, but they're very tough. So I may have overcooked my wax a bit. It's fine. I'm not gonna sweat it. Get that off of there. Yeah, that might become after this project. Okay, here we go. Just commit to the bit, Priscilla. Alright, so we're going to leave that to set. And then we'll top it off a little bit. We'll put our little letter guide, our little word strip on there. I'm trying to see if I can get some drips with what's left here. I definitely cooked this because it's a lot darker than it's supposed to be. But that's okay. Not worried about it. So, what I'm gonna do, because this is approaching 40 minutes again, which is, I don't know, the lucky number for these last couple videos, I guess. Is I'm gonna let this all set, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna finish it up. It won't be very long in reality, but I don't have anything else to talk about, so, you know, yeah. Ta-da! Okay, so we're back, we're set. I grabbed the wax. I was going to show you guys, I made a sufficient amount of charcoal back here. You could, if you wanted to, scrape this off and mix it up with like a little water or a little bit of like glycerin or like a mineral oil. If you wanted to make it a makeup application thing, you could turn this into eyeliner. That's how they used to do it. I'm not saying do that, I'm just saying you could, but you could also turn it into like a cool inky black ink that you use if you wanted to salvage that in any way to your performance. I just wanted to show it to you guys. So let's see. We got our bee. Look at our little bee guy. He's so cute. And then I'm going to bring him out with just a little bit of wax so we can see what we're looking at. I am like supremely interested. This is what like you can see through it, which is not typical of this wax. It is usually very opaque, but I think because I boiled the heck out of it, it has changed its properties a little bit. But that is okay. Because we're just going to make it shiny again by coloring it with this copper, which is actually more of a, well, like with this gold combo makes it look a little bit brownish, so it matches the background a fair bit. And that's it. That's Epistolary. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully that's in focus. Is it about letters and letter writing? I think it is. I think we achieved it. I took an envelope and made it artsy, but also like a little callback to the journey of an envelope through time, perhaps. And like, you know, how you open it and it unlocks something. That's the key. That was the whole thought process here. You're like unlocking some unknown hidden information by getting in there. But ta-da! You guys come back tomorrow, see what we do for hashtag Curiosiprompts. See what Tiff over at Amethyst Raven 342 is doing for her prompt today, and check out the playlist, what everybody else is doing for the prompts. And until next time, guys, I appreciate your faces. Happy crafting and goodbye.